Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this special podcast. We have Richard Love, aka Mr. Savage, and he blessed us with his knowledge and time here in this conversation we had regarding different various topics, which we want to share. A little background about Richard Love, aka Mr. Savage, is he has built a Savage Army following all around the world, and he had a tremendous experience. He was a Arctic Ranger back in his home country in Sweden, in which he served and ended up actually going to Afghanistan. Then after that, he settled in Miami for 13 years and served as a fitness instructor, serving different clients out there. He was able to learn the ins and outs of the fitness industry, and that's where he found a voice where he is able to express himself, authenticity, and also sharing his experiences and journey throughout life, which resonated with a lot of people. He has a tremendous following in social media, TikTok, Instagram, and now he is growing that towards YouTube. And he is very knowledgeable in terms of fitness, and we are so happy to share this with you, our conversation. And I kind of use this as a personal therapy a little bit, because I was asking questions that I'm looking for answers as well, because I, as a human like you, have daily struggles that I am fixing myself, as no one is perfect, and we always want to constantly grow and improve ourselves day by day. So I hope you guys enjoy this conversation as much as I have. I've actually watched this immediately after we recorded it, and we took a lot of value regarding that you are the content and you don't necessarily have to create content, because you sharing yourself, being authentic, is how you can really express that message. And I'm trying to practice that after our conversation. So really hope you guys enjoy this and take a lot of value, not just for fitness itself, but improving life in general. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. We have here Richard Love, aka Mr. Savage. Thank you so much for taking the time to have a conversation here with us. Bless us with your presence. If you want to just introduce us to people that aren't familiar with you, what you're all about, and that way they can follow you and resonate with your message.
Most definitely. First and foremost, Lester, we greatly appreciate the opportunity to be part of this beautiful podcast. And you, my friend, you're part of the Savage Army. So when you and I started to talk and, offer an opportunity for us to have this dialogue that we're having right now, I was very, very intrigued. My name is Richard Love. I am almost 40 years of age. I am originally from Sweden. I'm half Swedish and half Viking, which means that I am actually Viking, or half Finnish, I would say, and I'm actually a Viking. But for you who don't know me, I post content. I would consider myself being a wellness entrepreneur. I have been within personal training in the past here in Miami. I have a background coming from the Arctic Ranger division in the northern part of Sweden. I have been deployed. But my life really changed when I met my wife, where she offered a duality or more layers to our existence than what I was trained to see and feel. So ever since then, I've been trying to share a message with the world, with my audience, for a spiritual, mental, and physical growth, a physical and mental and spiritual commitment on a daily fucking basis, in order for us to align with the savage that already exists within us. That's a short version.
And what's fascinating that really caught my attention, when I was in social media and stuff, is your quality of the video. That was the first thing. Second thing was, you talk about being a one total unit, because when you see bodybuilding, stuff like that in social media, they just focus on the outside aspect, having a perfect
Right.
physique, so on and so forth. But you talk about total machine mentally inside as well. So that's what happened when you met your wife. She can introduce you to the inner part of our savage.
Correct. So I would say when I was in the age span of 15 to 20 years old, right, I was as well, I wanted to get as buffed and put on muscle size, because I feel like
Yeah.
every teenager at that age, we're just like blossoming into who we are going to be. But at that time compared to now, I didn't have a fucking cell phone. I didn't have social media. I didn't have a blueprint of how a fit individual should look like. I just had a few friends that were a little bit older that had a brother who was in the gym and he was already bench pressing. Yeah, I want to start doing that shit as well. When I turned 19 years of age, when I graduated from the Arctic Ranger Division, I realized how important it is to work as one motherfucking unit. I was put in extreme weather conditions where big biceps and a low body fat percentage would not serve me whatsoever, but rather my mental and physical capacity to perform any form of challenging task at hand. That's what I was intrigued by. So by the age of 19 and ongoing still, I have always been like, what the fuck am I capable of performing? Mentally and physically, what can I fucking do with this unit? Does that make any sense? So the concept of looking a certain way, I honestly don't feel, Lester, that we can base a lot of self-worth and self-confidence about what the reflection is in the mirror. Like you, Lester, and me, myself, if I'm at 6% body fat percentage or you're at 7, who gives a fucking fuck? But if we're capable of using this machine for more ways than one, holy shit, all of a sudden I base my self-confidence and self-worth on this ability. Our move from Miami to Costa Rica was so profound because I was working with my body, training and whatnot, and recording hopefully quality content like you pointed out. But I was working with my thumb, right? Everything I was doing was on my phone. So I was very good at that. But then all of a sudden you start working with your hands. You need to chop fucking wood to get the cabin going, to get the cabin warm for that night. Okay, I haven't chopped wood in a long fucking time. Then my wife and I invested in some land in Costa Rica. Okay, how do you dig holes? Well, you utilize these tools, for example, and all of a sudden you start working with the tools and you realize that all the training really allows you to work for a long period of time, carry heavy equipment, be endurant, be mentally, focused on the task that you have at hand. Compare that to training solely to look a certain way. I think that you are very easily going to be depressed because there's always something more to do, something more to cut. And nowadays, compared to when I grew up, we are constantly being bombarded by different kind of social media blueprint. This is how you should look like as a man. Unless you're driving a Bugatti, you're not successful. Unless you're having 3 hot girlfriends, your relationship is not as great as it can be. You see what I'm saying? Like all of these blueprints are not healthy, in my opinion. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm 31. You're 40, and I kind of grew up where social media didn't exist. There was a little bit, right, like AOL or MySpace and stuff, but to the younger generation, I feel like they're more susceptible to these things because
Yes,
they grew up with it. It was already there, so it's hard for them to kind of distinguish what it was like before. I guess what you would say, like, what is reality, because that's all they see, right? Like wherever they go.
correct.
So what would you say, someone that's wanting to change themselves, where can they start? Like bare minimum, that's something they can do, small practical steps.
Just like any form of a change that you would like to see occur in your life, whatever that is, relationship or, establish a business and generate freedom or whatever it might be, I want each and every one of us to establish 5 reasons why. Why is it that you want to have a fucking change take place in the first place? Say, for example, fitness. Okay, I want to get fit. Everybody says that. Okay,
Yeah,
everybody understands the general concept. Oh, I want to, get fit. Okay, so that
every
is
New
the first
Year's.
thing. Right, every
Yeah,
fucking New Year's.
yeah.
Why do you want to get fit? Okay, this is the first out of those 5 questions. Okay, well, if you are a little bit older, for example, I want to have more energy, coming home from work to play with my kids. Great. Why is that important to you? That's the second why. Well, my dad and my parents were not really around as much as they should have been, and that translated into, okay, third thing, why is it important? You see what I'm saying with this? All of a sudden, you are going to narrow down your reasons why you want to get fit. What those 5 reasons will do for you is set a trajectory for you to get on a course of your savage journey and accomplish your fucking desired outcome, but it will take away the external factor of you being motivated or not. Many
That's
people
it.
in today's society is like, hey man, we're gonna go to this great seminar, and for 5 minutes after that seminar, I feel motivated. Or you watch somebody talk to you on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, and it might be me who is giving you some form of motivation. You feel motivated, but that motivation is a sensation, and they come and they go, just like you being hungry, we being happy, and we being, it's all fluctuating. So that desired outcome cannot be based upon how you fucking feel. So the first thing that I would suggest to somebody who wants to get and improve their physical and mental capacity, 5 reasons why. Why is this important to you?
And that's completely agree. And not just that, for business, aspect as well. Because I wanted to share, I worked in a Range Rover dealership in Miami. I was making great money and stuff like that, but I was a prisoner. I wanted to express myself. I wanted to create content. I wanted to be free, not just work whenever I want, but also be passionate of what I do. And
Yes.
for me, I thought about it for a long time. Like I wanted to start a business, but I never got there. So I really had to dig deep. I don't know when it clicked, but maybe it was to a point where like I can't do this anymore. Sometimes we do have to go through that, you know,
Yes.
the edge for us to do, something. And for me, I had to, maybe I wasn't consciously thinking about my whys, but it was for me like daily things that I just couldn't do it. I had enough, and deep down inside, I, that was probably my why. Like I wanted freedom. I wanted to do other things that interested to me that I wanted to pursue. Talk to interesting people that are doing interesting things. So those are the main thing. If you can really have clarity and have those whys, it really helps. Give
Yeah,
you like a roadmap.
and those whys can be exactly what you described. Why don't I appreciate this aspect of my job currently? Well, because it keeps me locked in. Number two, yes, um, I don't really appreciate this because it doesn't allow me to have the freedom of my own time. All of a sudden, you have identified your why you don't want to have this, and that self awareness is crucial. You're 31 years of age. Some people work the same job even though they don't fucking like it until they're 55, 65, and hoping to retire and live happy after that. You know what I'm saying? So you have already self-identified things that you greatly appreciate. Why don't I want to have this part of my life? Why would something else serve me furthermore? And that has led you and me to have this conversation right now. I would not have this conversation with you at Range Rover.
Maybe
You see what
unless
I'm
you're
saying?
buying one. But nonetheless, there's so many people that wanted to make change. Couple things that
Yes,
really common is they start, right? The first week, second week, even a month, they're doing fantastic, and all of a sudden whether that's diet, they go eat some junk food, whether that's working out, they just stop doing it. What would be some reasons for them to keep going? Maybe the motivation died there. Because for me, whenever I'm a runner, right? So a lot of my friends say, hey, I want to run like you, whatever. One thing I tell them is, dude, you just have to be consistent, whether that's walking a mile every day, just doing something every day. You don't have to run 3 miles every single day. It's baby steps. Would you
correct.
say something different or maybe add into that?
So I would say that it's a very good suggestion that you have for everyone who is interested to do exactly what you're doing. I think it's a very deep question. And I think it's a very deep type of lifestyle mindset to have. You understand what running does for you. Okay. It's not so you can burn off the pizza that you had the day before. No, it's who the fuck you are, Lester. It's who you are. This is what you fucking do. I think that many people, when they look upon fitness as something separate from who they are, but they want to have some of that because they know that they would benefit from it, right? But the
Yes.
whole identification, I am this, I am that, I am a business owner, I am a dad. Fitness for me, it's a little tough to get in here. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so busy. Bro, it's not separate. You identify yourself as a fucking business owner. You identify yourself as a runner. Okay, this is who you are. This is what you do. It's not about discipline. It's not about motivation. It's who you identify yourself as. Okay? Does a person your way talk about all the things that he wants to get going and started. And many people fall into the trap about finding that perfect strategy of how the first step should look like. And they want to reach out to everyone they find interesting, including yourself or including me on YouTube or on Instagram. Hey, bro, I really need some motivation to get started right now. Get started. Get fucking started. Because the lessons are within the repetitions. You cannot sit back and procrastinate and expect to grow or learn or gain experience. None of that shit happens. And I am the first one to tell you, Lester, I did not appreciate being in front of the camera in the past. I procrastinated the shit out of my life currency by saying, you know what? I need a new camera. I want the lighting to be perfect. I want the audio to be perfect. I want to have a message that people truly understand. And I don't want to offend anyone. Right? So you're about to take that step, but you don't really, because you make yourself think that you need other things in order for you to create content, to share your message. And then my wife was like, Richard, for fuck's sake, you have created 5 videos that are absolutely serving and offering some form of value. Put it the fuck out there. And the first thing that I really, when I took that step away from being hesitant and posting and really like wanted to have a message that was like appreciative of everybody in my audience, the first step that I took, she was like, post it on TikTok. I was at 0 followers on TikTok. I started to post exactly what I'm doing, working with the Savage 5 tools. This is who I am. This is what I think. TikTok is amazing in the sense of it really offers 0 filter from people who are watching your shit. Fuck you, Mr. Jonasons, Voldemort, Agent 47. I have been called everything. Look at how chubby he is. Oh, imagine if he cut weight. What is he doing? He thinks that he's going to build a physique based upon these Savage 5 tools. That was the best fucking experience ever, because I realized whatever I fucking do, people are always going to have an opinion about it. So you might as well do your most authentic fucking self. Does that
100%
make sense?
agreed.
And like
100%.
there's no fear here, because nobody has figured life the fuck out. Everybody is here for a short period of timeline that we are blessed with to share, you and me, with each other, that we call life. But Marcus Aurelius and many other great philosophers in the past have the same fucking questions that we are asking ourselves right now. Happiness, freedom, what is the purpose of life, and all of these things, right? So, in my opinion, just go ahead and do exactly what you are inspired to do. My mom and dad don't even appreciate all of the videos that I share. I curse too much. My message is a little bit, off. My wife supports every single message. She is my team player. She's my teammate. I am loyal to her 100%. You know what I'm saying? So, it's all about taking that first step. Recording videos have led me to build an audience, have led me to have a podcast opportunity together with you, Lester. None of this shit would have happened if I was sitting back procrastinating. Oh, and you know what? Before I get started, I am going to buy a drone. Okay? So I can also capture the most captivating type of videos and whatnot. It's all fucking bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing, nothing good happens inside of your fucking comfort zone. And despite it being so fucking cliche that, exit your comfort zone, it is the absolute fucking truth. We left Miami after 13 years. Miami is an incredible fucking city, right?
Amazing.
But we would not have found a fucking village of 76 people at 9,000 feet in Costa Rica by sitting back in the couch in Miami. We would not have discovered an opportunity to invest in some land in Costa Rica. We would not have experienced to build something that can offer such a great contrast to that Miami life that we had before. And contrast, in my opinion, is what makes life. The more contrast we experience, the more life we live. Just like you're 31 years of age right now. You've already worked many different jobs. You probably already have many different relationships, good and bad. You met so many different people. You are leading yourself. You're aligning yourself with the savage that already exists within you. Your contrast is what's going to give you more contrast and experience more life quality.
So how important is that in terms of, like if you're starting a business, how often should you get creative or push the boundary? Let's say your business is doing fine, but is that always the goal to improve, or is there a point where you're good with it and just make it the best you can?
Again, it comes, in my opinion, it comes down to your 5 reasons why. So if I
All comes
turn
down
that
to it.
question, yeah, if I turn back that question to me, why do I want to also embark on this business endeavor? For example, we have a Savage Army knife coming. Why is that important to offer a knife? Well, first and foremost, we have a great partner who have sourced the steel from my home country, Sweden, right?
That's
Making
badass.
making amazing chef and camp knife, so you can both use it inside of your own kitchen, but you can also bring it outside and chop up fucking onions and shit in front of the campfire. Why is that important to me? Well, first and foremost, it would offer a great amount of value to the Savage Army. I go back to the value for the Savage Army. Without the value, I'm fucking nothing. I get approached on a weekly basis from companies that want to offer me free products, reviews, sponsored videos, and many other things that if I looked upon it only as an opportunity to make money, yes, I would have more money. But what I would have less of is trustworthiness from the Savage Army. Because here I am repping one brand 1 week and then I'm bringing another product. So we decline 95% of all offers that we receive on a weekly basis because it simply does not offer value. Again, offering a Savage Army knife offers value because everybody cuts up their meat inside of the kitchen. Why not have it with a blacked out fucking blade and a beautiful handle produced in United States? You know what I'm saying? By a small family owned business. Are you kidding me? That's so fucking aligned. Instead of me pushing a fucking supplementation because I can make 15 to 20% commission on what you buy and shove into your mouth hole. I don't believe in that whatsoever.
And so it all circles back, as you mentioned. That's why you have to dig deep inside yourself to figure that out.
Yes, but if you're only, Lester, looking at the money aspect, money is energy, it's currency. Okay, it can fuel us in the right direction and it can fuel us in the not so right direction, right? This is all this is all part of, the importance of money. But if money is your only desire, bro, you are going to keep fucking chasing more and more and more money. We have been fortunate to have 13 years as a personal trainer in Miami, working with only the fucking top 1% of clients in this beautiful city because our price point have always been the highest because I do believe I offer the most amount of value to each client. They have a ridiculous amount of money. They own banks, car dealerships, you name it, top of the fucking notch, right? You would look upon
Hmm.
them and say, hey, bro, they have made it. They're so fucking happy. If I was there, I would be so fucking happy driving in a new car every week and flying places and whatnot. Do you think that they're happy? No, because they have
No,
not identified their fucking goal and their 5 reasons why having $10 million versus having $100 million. It's just digits unless you have an emotional connection to the ability that for you to see that the worth I put in is actually giving me value back. I think in today's society, we're just looking to have more and more money. So you don't even know what your limit is because you haven't identified your 5 reasons why. I have identified exactly what my 5 reasons why is for making X amount of money. I have identified my freedom number. If I make X, this will translate to Y. Okay? And my 5 reasons why having that amount of money is so much in alignment with making that money because it allows me to have the freedom that I do appreciate. Does that make sense? When
yeah,
you're at Range Rover and you're hitting fucking bonus targets and you're hitting, X amount of money, okay, then next month you have a new fucking goal to meet, and then all of a sudden you're in that system of just having to have to produce for somebody else business. Yes, you're getting a good cut of it, and you're fucking feeling that fucking having money in my pocket right now allows me to have freedom. But you have to go back the day after and be there at work at 9 or 10 a.m. I don't know when you start, and you have to spend X amount of hours at Range Rover dealership. That's not freedom.
no,
That's not freedom. In my opinion, freedom means that you are in total control of your own time. If you would like to take a fucking power nap right now at this moment, and you can, despite it being Sunday, but if this was Monday, right? And you can, that's freedom. If you can travel somewhere and not have to look at the fucking menu when you're ordering something and have to look at the fucking prices and be like, you know what, I'm gonna navigate through to buy the something that is not too expensive, bro, you're winning, man. You're winning. For me, food is a big thing. And when I first realized that I have identified like food being, it's a little bit of a background noise here. You okay
That's
with
good.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. When I identified that food is a big fucking why on my five whys, things really took a good turn. It was like, okay, now I really know why I'm creating more content and hoping having, people appreciate the value that I'm bringing so that I can perhaps generate a little bit closer to this freedom number of mine.
So when you're creating this content, we just talked about food. That's one of the things that you show, what you're eating that day, right? And it looks fucking delicious. Are you just going through like within yourself, like what would serve that or what would be interested to your, viewers, the Savage Army? Kind of walk us through like what you are thinking when you're creating this content because I'm kind of in this stage where I just need to do repetition right in my stage. So the more I do it, the better I get. I understand that concept. So in your situation, is that where you're just doing anything that pops up in your idea, or do you still sit down and kind of filter through what would be a good information that people can digest or take value from?
I think that's a very good question. And I'm just going to change location here. Hang on one second so we avoid a little bit of that. So that is a very good question. I believe, can you hear me still?
Yeah,
Oh, perfect. This is so much better. First and foremost, if I don't feel like creating any form of content, I don't. Okay? I don't put it on me to have like a pressure to create X amount of shorts, X amount of TikTok videos, X amount of reels on Instagram. I don't give a fuck. If I don't feel like it, I simply do not do it. When I do create content, I share me because I am the content. I'm not creating content. Okay? If I'm feeling like shitty right now, I'm going to tell you, Lester, hey, I feel like shit right now, but I'm going to have this coffee and I know that the Cuban coladas is going to rev things up and it's going to offer me so much more life quality, right? There you go. So I am the content. I think that many people think that they have to create content. And what does that lead to? You not being fucking authentic. Look at Liver King, for example. This motherfucking fool, he is all about creating content. He doesn't live exactly the way he preaches. I can guarantee you that much. But what he have done tremendously well is to point a huge amount of audience to a supplement brand. And I give him credit for that tremendously. Him and Paul Saladino, who is also known as the Carnivore MD, they are the two top individuals that offers organ supplements, right? So you have Liver King in one direction, pushing a type of a primal type of lifestyle, right? And
lifestyle.
then you
Yeah.
have, yeah, and then you have Paul Saladino, who is a doctor who is pushing more facts around and surrounding eating organs and whatnot. So you have two individuals who are partners in Heart and Soil Supplements, and Liver King's business is called Ancestral Supplements. So you have two individuals covering such a broad amount of audience to two different kind of brands. Okay? To me, they have done an amazing marketing and sales job, 100%. But they are pushing perhaps not their exact lifestyle, rather pushing content to come across as having a certain type of lifestyle. Does that make any sense?
It does, yeah. And that's kind of like for me where I kind of struggle occasionally, just because I'm still going through myself, fixing myself regarding the image that I portray. And you talk about where you used to have hair, now you don't, just because for other reasons, right? Like the first thing you want to do in the morning, as you relate to David Goggins, was shit, shave, and those are the most important things. And for me, like I've always had, struggles regarding portraying that image just because, you know, I'm Asian and I grew up in a white suburban neighborhood and I wanted to belong. And one of those things was staying in fashion of what everyone else is wearing, just because I was afraid to express myself, being the real self. Like I enjoyed doing art in high school, and people that were doing art in high school were getting made fun of because you weren't, a football star, a basketball star. And I know deep inside that's what I wanted to do, and I still did it, even though I was getting those backlash from people. What would you say that helped you a lot, expressing that authenticity when you were younger and not being afraid of what people were thinking?
So I was struggling with that when I was younger. I was struggling with the exact same thing. Like, I was scared of the 10 most dangerous words, and I applied the 10 most dangerous words to my overall lifestyle. What would other people think? And what would other people say? Those 10 words are extremely dangerous and are holding back so many people. I think that what you can be struggling with is thinking that you have to create content that is interesting. But Lester, in my opinion, knowing you, getting to know you, who the fuck you are, is what will have people relate to you or not relate to you. And you're not in charge of that. You're simply sharing who the fuck you are with the world. I want to hear about your upbringing. I want to hear about your current business. I want to hear about your story of starting this fucking podcast. That's fucking amazing, in my opinion. I'm sitting back and procrastinating starting a podcast, but you are actually doing it. You're taking action. So I want to hear about you. And you have to understand that content comes from you. You sharing your daily life. Hey guys, this is Lester John, and this is 5 minutes of how a day looks like in my life. I want to see that fucking video. Bro, you go up and run, you live in Florida, this is what you eat, this is how you work. That's fucking interesting to me. That's a great amount of value. And you will never feel as you have to create content. You're just sharing you in video format. Does that make sense?
It does. And in terms of yours, did you find that message that you wanted to share with someone immediately, or you were just like, I'm going to record what I want to do? And I guess it just, people wanted to connect with that.
So that's a good question, Lester. So one of the first videos that really got, became viral was me sharing exactly how I felt. I have always been part of the fitness industry, but I have also looked at the fitness industry from a fucking far. Seeing what's bullshit, seeing what's really fucking good, and not being afraid of voicing it has been my greatest strength. For example, fuck your protein powder, right? That video went so fucking viral. It is unbelievable, right? And
Yeah.
people took it a little bit too literal, and they're showcasing how they actually did perform that act with their protein powder. But the point of that story was, and what raised questions, and what divided 8, 9, 10 million people watching the videos on both Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. 50% said, hey man, he's absolutely right. We don't need fucking baby formula into our mouth hole when in reality we can eat wholesome food. And the other people, and the other half, who are most likely shaking their protein bottles, got a little hurt. And of course they wanted to voice why they drink protein powder. It's one of the most scientifically researched supplements to have and all of that stuff. No, it's not food. That's why it's called a supplement. But the point was, that was my opinion. That was my opinion about that aspect of the fitness industry. Just like how I am saying that a bodybuilder is not a fit individual. 50% will agree, 50% will not agree. That's not my responsibility to try to nurture both ends. I share my opinion. Lester, what do you think about starting a fucking Amazon business with only importing things from Pakistan or India compared to having some sourced in the United States? Versus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
your opinion. And I want to hear about that because it may be different from mine. But what we have lost in today's society is to have a dialogue about it. We're so quick to be polarizing. Fuck you and fuck that for thinking X. When in reality, we can have like, hey, bro, Lester has a different opinion from me. I want to have a dialogue about that to learn something. That ability is slowly declining, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that is super important, and that's why for me, like reading books is one of the biggest like life changing activity that I've ever done. And I didn't read in high school. I didn't start till I was in college, and I wanted to learn more about dating and women, and that's how I found oh, I was like I enjoy reading because I was
Yeah,
reading things that were interesting to me. It wasn't
yeah,
because of my English teacher wanted me to read this book that I was not interested at all. That's why I hated reading. So
correct. But now
and
you found your whys as to
yeah,
why you wanted to read books. Again, we step back to the five reasons why is it important for you to read books. Well, it's a different type of information that you gain from it, rather than like looking at our phone, for example. And your desire to date women was so profound that it led you to read books. Bro, I can say the exact same thing. When I was single, I was practicing the game.
yeah,
Okay,
Neil Strauss.
Neil Strauss, bro, fucking savage, way ahead of his time. The 3 second
Yeah,
rule, all of those things. That's how I landed, quote unquote, my wife. You know, I literally were in Miami after being deployed in Afghanistan. I was there with two of my friends from the military, and I saw someone absolutely stunning from behind. And I told myself, I'm like, I have 3 seconds, and the first second have already passed, and then the third second, I was already standing in front of her. And my first thing that I said to my wife was as follows: I just wanted to see if you look as beautiful in the front as you do from behind. Okay? That was so stupid. And I said it with a Swedish English accent, but I stood in front of her. And that 3 second rule led to us 13, 14 years, 15 years later,
that's
still
amazing.
being happy together and, living life and sharing life's ups and downs together. But it all came from that desire of you reading books for you to apply certain types of quote unquote techniques. It all comes down to being authentic in reality, but like also to stand out a little bit. You kind of have to do certain things to attract a certain type of significant other or significant crowd, depending if you're on social media trying to gain a larger audience, etc.
Yeah, and our time is coming up here, and I really appreciate you, sitting
Thank
down
you,
with
Leslie.
me. And I know you have a lot of catching up regarding, coming back to Miami, taking care of business. If you want to leave us with, last note or message that you want to share with everyone that, they don't think they can be a savage, but within inside, they all have it. If you want to leave us with that message and how can they reach you and know more about you as well.
So, Lester, you're absolutely on point. I am not creating a savage out of anyone. I'm just holding fucking space for you to realize like the savage already exists within me, and we are a big fucking global community. The savage army is all over the fucking world. We're talking Indonesia, we're talking South Africa, we're like all over the place. So my last question to anyone or suggestion to anyone who is listening to this great podcast is, instead of sitting back, creating a strategy for how that first step should look like. I have been there myself and nothing fucking happened. That first step, you're most likely going to fail over and over and over again. But use failing as a way to measure your progress. Does that make sense? Measure your progress. If you fail, that means that, okay, you were not really fully, really there at this point, but keep on failing, keep on learning, keep on failing again. And all of a sudden, that action that you once took is now leading you to have the lifestyle of freedom that you can truly appreciate, because you have identified your five reasons why that change means so much to you. You have identified what freedom means to you, and take that first step. Action will beat procrastination every single fucking day of the week.
Action trumps everything. Even though it's not perfect, you keep going at it. You look back
It's
5 years
it's
from now.
never about perfection. I thought it was about perfection to shoot the best fucking video before you put it out there.
Yep.
Guess how many fucking videos I put out there? Zero, with a capital zero. You know what I'm saying? With a capital Z. That's what I was about to say.
All right, Richard. Again, thank you so much for your time. Where can everyone find you?
We are the Savage Army on Instagram. We are the Savage Army on YouTube. We are the Savage Army on TikTok. Majority of the content that I produce and post nowadays is on YouTube. So I don't do as much on TikTok anymore. We reached close to 900,000 people. We are close to 162,000 on Instagram. But YouTube, I feel as if there's a different type of audience who goes to YouTube and you can connect with them in a different way than on TikTok, for example, where it's very quick to just drop comments and F bombs left and right. Here you can actually have a valuable connection with your Savage Army. And that's another thing that I want to highlight. YouTube is incredible of a social media and search platform. You can more or less learn everything, on YouTube. So you, Lester, you need to be there. If you're not there already, sharing who you are with shorts, sharing who you are with longer format, because it is a fantastic opportunity to have evergreen videos, meaning that they constantly keep on playing. The algorithm will continue to push it out rather than Instagram being very fresh, the latest, the latest, the latest, and then 5 videos down, people don't go to watch that. Same thing with
Exactly.
TikTok. It's all about fresh, 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 fresh. Whereas YouTube is like you have an opportunity to build a foundation of videos, a foundation of connection with your audience, and then grow from there. But again, you are the content. You're not creating content.
I
So
am the
I want
content.
to learn about you, Lester, more than anything. I don't want to see a content that you have created. I want to see about how you live your daily life. How is it to live in Florida? Is it hot? It's cold as fuck where I am. Is there any good food? Can you go to the beach? Can you do whatever you do? How do you create a podcast? What kind of suggestions do you have for me starting an e-commerce business, for example? That's what I want to hear from you.
Yeah, that is noted and confirmed. And I actually started YouTube, a couple months ago, and working my way up to be more consistent. And most importantly, the message that I take away and hope our viewers take away is, being authentic and, create content because you are the content.
You are the content. End of story. And the sooner you come to realize that, the easier you will have to post, the easier it will be to be consistent with it. But you are the fucking content.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Richard, for taking the time. And guys, thank
Thank
you for
you, brother.
watching. Feel free to reach out to Richard if you are interested. And in your website, you offer, programs and different tools for everyone as well.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Bye.
I'll,